Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to explain to you one of my life stories. And this, from the title, you probably already know I shouldn't have done something, but this is not that bad. Kind of funny. But to explain to you the story I want to tell you, I have to explain some other things. And the other things are going to be kind of boring. They don't really involve me. One of the stories does not involve me, but the other two do. So, this all kind of went down a few months ago, a year at max, and four of my friends. I'm going to name the ones that I will be referencing a lot in my future videos and in this video right now. They were Jeff, Chris, and Jack. Now, those are not the real names, but those are just names that, you can identify them by. So, a while back, four of my friends, Jeff, Chris, and Jack, and then another one, had decided to go to a construction house by Jeff's house. And pretty much at the time, we were all interested in like paranormal and ghosts and abandoned houses and stuff. Oh god, I'm dying. But they had gone in there, managed to get in, and they were having fun, And once I saw them again, they were gloating to me about how they did this, and I was like, damn, I want to go do that. So me, Jeff, Chris, and Jack decide to get together that day and go into that construction house. This happened maybe a week or so later after they did it. A week or two maybe, 3 at max. And pretty much, we went there later in the day, so maybe like 6 o'clock-ish. It was fairly dark because we had to go to Jeff's house, wait for his mom to leave, and his brother was there, but his brother really didn't care about us at all. We could honestly die, and he would not even care at all. I mean, it was hilarious, but pretty much we had set out, and there was 4 of us, and this is relatively later at night, and of course we're looking sketchy, really bad sketchy, and we had gotten to the house, we had made it inside, we were, joking around, climbing, exploring, using our flashlights, and we had to actually cover up our flashlights to make sure no one saw light from the window. But pretty much, we had skipped over a lot of the stuff. I guess we really didn't skip over, we just kind of didn't do much at that time, but my friends, or Jeff's mom had called them, and said, I'm getting pizza for you guys, and Jeff was insistent by figuring out how long she'll be before she gets home. We finally figured it out, and it was like 15 to 20 minutes away, and of course we all decided to head back and, relax there, so we could kind of, get settled in and, make sure that we're there before she gets home. But later, after this experience, maybe like a week or two again later, we decided to head back to this house, and pretty much, this time it was just me, Jeff, and Chris. And we decided to go further exploring and dick around a little bit more. So later that day, we decided to go back to Jeff's house and head over to the construction place. This time it was kind of earlier in the day, so there was more sunlight. It was not as, dark as it was the first time, or actually, my first time. So we walk over there, and this time it was a little bit colder. It was maybe, I don't know, I'd say below 32 degrees. It was the point where there was ice, in little puddles and stuff. There was icicles, and it was frozen. But we had gotten to the house, and we had our jackets on. This time we were looking really sketchy, because we had to have our hoods up and stuff. And we had gotten to the house, and pretty much there was this back door, because the garage doors were blocked off. We could not get in the same way that we did the first time. So Jeff and Chris had found this little back door that's close to the garage doors, and that was like a direct entrance into the garage itself, and then inside the garage there was another door that was wide open that led right into the house. So pretty much we had decided to try to get this temporary door open. I would not call it temporary per se, but it had a temporary lock to where it was kind of a weird version of a deadbolt lock, if that's kind of what you call it. I mean, it's like a little twist and turn lock. The door didn't even have a handle on it. I mean, it was very basic, and I was put on lookout, and Jeff and Chris were trying to get the door open by twisting the lock. Now, pretty much, they got it open after, like, let's say 5 minutes or so, and we had gotten inside the house, and we were climbing up on some scaffolding. It's like some like tall wooden planks with like metal bars. I mean, it's how they would like paint houses and paint tall walls and stuff. But we're in there, and we're laughing and cutting up. But we had to kind of stay quiet so no one would hear us, because people would drive by. And of course, thinking about it now, they couldn't really hear us. I mean, they're in a car and they're driving, and they're definitely not going to hear us laughing. But still, though, after some time and after some talks in there, we decided to get going back to Jeff's house. And of course, we go back through the same way we came in. And pretty much, we had tried to get the lock on that door back closed. Our idea was that they would not be suspicious that the door was fiddled with if the lock was open. Because, I mean, if they think that the lock was locked, and it was locked whenever they got there, then no one would have messed with it. But if it was locked when they left, and it was unlocked whenever they got back, then they would have thought something was up. So Jeff and Chris start working on the lock again, and pretty much I was put on lookout to make sure no one was coming. And after maybe like 5 minutes or so, I mean, it wasn't that long, the landlord apparently had pulled up in this little white truck. And of course, I mean, our kind of hearts kind of go in our throat for a minute. We're like, oh no, you gotta be kidding me, right? And they were trying to get the lock working faster, because I mean, definitely now that they see a bunch of kids walking away and the door is unlocked when you locked it the first time, you have a bunch of suspects. And we had decided to just, get out of there as fast as we could. So they just closed the door and left it in hopes that he'd think that he did not lock it whenever he left, or someone didn't. And we were able to kind of walk away nonchalantly. More than likely, the landlord saw us. I mean, it's hard not to see a kid in bright blue sweater and 3 of us walking away. But the way back to Jeff's house, you had to follow along this curved road. So this little curved road, on the side of it, there was this kind of like forest almost. I mean, it was like a little place with some trees and some grass and some little puddles and a creek and stuff. And we decided to hide there. And luckily, we had got in there at just the right amount of time, because the landlord decided to kind of cruise around the neighborhood trying to look for us, because he knew what was up. And we sat there for 15 minutes. I mean, of course, it's frigid, and we're not wanting to go back on the main road because we'd have an easy chance of getting spotted. So we had to backtrack all the way to Jeff's house, and thorns and cold weather, puddles, and everything else. And of course, it's so cold that water was, it was at the minimum 32 degrees or below. I mean, it was absolutely frigid. But pretty much, we make it safely back to Jeff's house. No one really got us. I mean, Jeff's mom wasn't home. Brother didn't care. I don't think he even really figured out unless we told him in the future. I mean, stuff like that. We got home, relaxed, laughed, cut up about it. I think we had some stuff on our Snapchat stories, and it was hilarious. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I mean, see, it's quite a simple story. But thank you guys for watching. Maybe later I'll tell you some more stories or cover some YouTube drama that's going on. You never know. But I love you guys, and I'll see you kids later. Bye.